I've been asked, how do I contract? Do I need a limited company or do I need an umbrella company? Well, there's a very simple answer to this, yes. However, there are a number of choices. There are contracts where you become an employee of the company on a temporary basis, and they're known as fixed-term contracts, where the end client will payroll you and employ you. They tend to be few and far between, and in reality the client wants to basically avoid the liability or the responsibility of being your employer. Therefore, they're looking for a supplier to provide you and the services that you provide to them. So there really are one or two vehicles to do this with. The most convenient choice or option is an umbrella company. Now, this is an organisation that engages you usually with a contract for services, not quite employing you, but taking responsibility for you, calculating your pay and taking responsibility for sending the tax and national insurance to HMRC. An umbrella company will take away the responsibilities of employment from the agency, which is what the agency wants. However, the agency still has to have responsibilities for you under what we call now the agency worker regulations. So umbrella organisations tend to be registered with agencies, and they're looking for those that have a really good reputation, usually because they've been around a while or that they're able to be audited, but certainly an established organisation that they respect and feel is safe, and in many cases will indemnify the agency for liability. The cost of using an umbrella is usually between about 2.5% or 5% of your contract value, and often it's a fixed price. The benefit to you is you're able to claim expenses, usually travel to and from work, your food, for instance lunches, or if you're working late, evening meals, and if you're working away, your accommodation. All these costs usually are quite difficult for a permanent employee to get back, and maybe they can make the difference between being a contractor and being a member of permanent staff. The most popular choice for long-term contractors is to have a PSC. That is your own limited company. You have to be a director of it, and you can basically establish yourself quite quickly as a limited company contractor. You have to have your own bank account, and you have to have a business bank account. It is probably the best choice because you're able, provided you're outside of IR35, and that is a big proviso, to earn more money. You're able, in some cases, to be able to net about 80% of your gross earnings, and that's a lot of money. It's certainly very extensive when you look at some people on PAYE who are being taxed at 50%. Since the Finance Act of 2014, that's April 2014 of this year, sole trader working as a freelance sole trader in this country isn't really viable in the IT contract market. The reason for this is that 80% of jobs will go through agencies, and agencies now are liable for the tax if they haven't taken good steps if a sole trader doesn't pay his taxes correctly. Therefore, they're very reluctant and will not deal with sole traders. This doesn't prevent a sole trader working directly with a client where there's no agency involved, but unfortunately that's less than 20% of the contract market. At Bytes, we would recommend that if you're unsure about contracting, that you use some kind of umbrella service. This can be either Bytes, PAYE supply service, or some other umbrella organisation. This is usually to establish yourself, to find out if you like contracting. But once you know that you're a contractor, and certainly if you're earning over £250 a day, you really should consider setting up your own limited company and working through a PSC.